Hello and welcome to News Central TV. I'm Darshan Usman. The top stories this hour. PDP governors convene emergency meeting in Abuja over widespread defections from the party. Rivers State government calls for stronger collaboration to combat sea piracy and criminality. Pope Leo XIV calls for world peace in First Sunday address. Details of these stories and more coming up shortly. News now begins in West Africa, Nigeria, where governors elected on the platform of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, have invited former governors and other stakeholders of the party to a meeting in Abuja. This is in a wider consultation on how to address the wave of defections and the crisis rocking the PDP. It was gathered that the governors also summoned members of the Board of Trustees and former presiding officers of the National Assembly. It was also learned that the meeting will also address key issues, including the upcoming National Executive Committee meeting and the National Elective Convention at the expanded meeting. Since the 2023 elections, the PDP has been battling internal crises. The situation worsened with the conflict between Governor Sim Fubara and Nyesom Wike in Rivers State, along with disagreements over the South-South zonal leadership and the unresolved National Secretary position since December 2024. Still on political matters, as preparations intensify for the July 12th local government elections in Lagos State, the All Progressives Congress on Saturday concluded its primaries ahead of the poll. Now at the party secretariat in Ikeja, party leaders, delegates, party agents, among others, participate in deciding the candidates across the 20 local government areas and 37 local council development areas. Now the chairman of the APC Electoral Committee, Babatunde Ogala, after several hours of sorting and counting, announced results for the chairmanship candidates who will be representing the party in the forthcoming Lagos State local government election. Ogala emphasized the party's commitment to a smooth and transparent process, while the Deputy Governor of Lagos State encouraged the electorate to uphold democratic principles throughout the process. Out to security matters, the Northern Governors Forum and the Traditional Rulers Council in the region have reiterated their support for the creation of state police. They therefore call on the National Assembly to expedite action on the enactment of the legal framework for its takeoff. This was part of their resolution at their joint meeting held at the Sir Kashim Ibrahim Government House in Kaduna State on Saturday. In a communique read by the chairman of the forum and governor of Gombe State, Inuwa Yahaya, at the end of the meeting, the Northern Governors resolved to liaise with the Nigerian Governors Forum to work out modalities of how to increase support to the federal security forces. They also resolved to strengthen peculiar local initiatives in combating all forms of security challenges by setting up interstate platforms to coordinate surveillance on their joint borders.
This effort so far, either as individual state governments or a collective, we cannot overemphasize the critical need to once again address pointedly the twin scourges of poverty and insecurity across the states in the north. Our region once revered as for its rich culture, agricultural abundance, and resilience, now bears the heaviest burden of economic deprivation and violent unrest. Millions of our people are trapped in cycles of destitution, with insecurity driving displacement and economic paralysis. This unacceptable reality demands more than rhetoric. It requires decisive, united, and sustained action.
This meeting comes at a critical juncture in our region's history, when the challenges we face demand nothing less than our collective wisdom and decisive action. I want to express my deepest condolences to the governments and peoples of Plateau, Bauchi, Benue, Borno, and Yobe states and indeed the entire people of northern Nigeria over the recent tragic killings that took place in the various states. This mindless act of violence against innocent citizens reminds us of the urgent need to redouble our security efforts and ensure that adequate security measures are vigorously implemented for the safety of our people. While we commend Mr. President for his sustained commitment to Nigeria's security, we must acknowledge the recent setbacks in our efforts to combat insecurity and other social vices.
Let's turn our attention to northwest Nigeria, where banditry has forced thousands from their homes, leaving once thriving communities now abandoned and desolate. Families who once lived in peace are now struggling to survive, crammed into makeshift shelters with little hope of ever returning to their former lives. Katsina State, one of the hardest hit areas, remains without official camps or structured aid, leaving residents to face shattered lives and fading dreams. Our News Central's correspondent Jamil Mabai brings us the heartbreaking stories of those living in constant fear.
It was not the life Aisha and her little sister Rafa'atu dreamed of. Once, they lived comfortably, going to school, playing freely. Now, home is a cramped, crumbling shanty. Their future uncertain, their safety gone. I asked the little Rafa'atu why they left their village. She mutters one word, bandits, that shattered their world. Rafa'atu used to go to school. Now, she doesn't even know if she will ever return. Like thousands across northwest Nigeria, her family is trapped in a crisis with no end in sight. Katsina is among the hardest hit. No IDP camps, no government shelters, just shanties. For families who once owned homes, this is now the only option.
Gidana na buge da siminti shigiwa uku.
Daki nawa?
Daki uku. Sai dakin hatsi guda. Hudu kenan. Sai zaure. Sai kitchen. Duka akwai. Amma zaman zo nan cikin kara.
No mattress, no bed, just the bare floor.
Ina ba wai labarin ka jana batun katifa sauki ya zo kenan. Bai dadi. Amma an babu dadi ai duk inda ka samu dan tabbata zamu shi ya ka. Dan shi mu da iyali yawa.
Yet, for these families, it is still safer than home because home is now a war zone.
Ai to ayan ne na tabbata haka Allah ko nawa zaka bani ban yi mutun nan. Ko ma nawa zaka bani in tayi yamma Allah bani zuwa. Wallahi ƙara macijin. Duwana yan ta'adda. Gasu baki kiran malin.
Bandits don't just steal property, they steal lives. They kidnap, they kill, they terrify. And for those who escape, the trauma lingers.
In buga mai waya sai dan ta'addan ya bude baki ya ce min ba shi bane ba hakili bane ba ni ne dan ta'adda nace kai ne dan ta'adda yace ina ce subhanallahi ni Allah mun tsakani da kai sai ce sauran ni nace ni yace ni yace nace to mun yi ba ni ba a taɓa sabgar da ban je ba amma saboda wannan kalmar da wannan dan ta'adda ya min nace ba ni zuwa ban je ba wallahi Allah ya dama ga annan mutanen ba su kin gani sam.
This is the reality for thousands in Katsina, displaced, forgotten, living in shadows. They did not choose this life. Banditry forced it upon them. And until something changes, their suffering will only grow. In Katsina, for News Central, I am Jamil Mabai.
Still talking security, the Kogi state government has reaffirmed its commitment to the security and well-being of its citizens, assuring the public that efforts to safeguard lives and property are being intensified across the state. In a statement issued on Saturday, the Commissioner for Information and Communications, Kingsley Femi Fangwa, described recent security threats as desperate attempts by criminal elements to disrupt the peace in the state. Fangwa emphasized that these threats will not weaken the resolve of Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo's administration to uphold law and order. He added that the government has already activated several strategic security operations, some of which cannot be publicly disclosed for security reasons. The commissioner also highlighted the administration's ongoing investment in strengthening local vigilante networks and its deepening collaboration with conventional security agencies to ensure a safer Kogi state. The Rivers State government is calling for stronger collaboration between security agencies and communities, stakeholders and residents to tackle the rising threats of sea piracy, illegal oil bunkering and other forms of criminal activity in the state. The charge was made by the state sole administrator, Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Bas, retired, during a town hall security stakeholders meeting held in Opobo town on Saturday. Represented by the State Commissioner of Police, Olugbenga Adepoju, Ibas highlighted the importance of collective efforts to protect critical government assets and infrastructure. He assured residents that the government is committed to improving healthcare, education, road rehabilitation, and other key welfare initiatives to improve living standards in the region. In his welcome address, the administrator of Okpobo Nkoro local government area, Mr. Frederick Akpeafi, described the meeting as timely and essential, urging participants to engage in meaningful and constructive dialogue. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll tell you that Akpabio hailed for accepting to step down from sexual harassment allegations probe panel. We'll bring you details of this and more shortly. Join us again. Thank you for staying with us. A group of lawyers have expressed support for Senate President Godswill Akpabio's decision to step down from a presidential panel investigating sexual harassment allegations made by Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. The lawyers argue that Akpabio's withdrawal was the right thing to do, as his involvement could have been perceived as a conflict of interest. Now, the panel was established by President Bola Tinubu on April 2nd, 2025, headed by Vice President Kashim Shettima, with a mandate to investigate the serious allegations that have drawn national attention and embarrassment. Other members of the panel include the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Rabadu, the Attorney General of Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, and one representative each nominated by Senator Akpabio and Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan. The federal government is urging Nigerian journalists to uphold ethical journalism and embrace media information literacy as a vital tool in the fight against fake news and misinformation. Minister of Information and National Orientation, Muhammad Idris, made the call on the sidelines of a thought leadership forum held in Abuja. Our correspondent, Joshua Marai, reports.
The 13th event, which focused on technology, education, and entertainment, brought together young innovators and media stakeholders from across Nigeria. Speaking at the sidelines of the gathering, Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris emphasized the need for continuous training for journalists and the adoption of media literacy practices. He stressed that this is essential to ensure the credibility and accuracy of information disseminated to the public.
It is also important for them to know that as they go along, they need to imbibe media literacy, media information literacy, because they need that. That is the only tool that they require to discern between fake news and real news, between misinformation and information. You need that because in this age, the social media especially can both be a unifier and also an agent of destruction, depending on how you use it. We want everyone to use the social media especially, which has come to stay, by the way, as a tool for unifying all of us.
Student speakers at the event also highlighted the importance of education and inclusive dialogue in promoting national unity and combating disinformation.
Wherever you are in life, no matter how low you think you are, how much you think you failed, you can't get back up with the right determination and effort.
Embracing our differences, I chose the topic because I am Turkish, and some people are Nigeria because I am in Nigeria. So that's why I choose the topic, so that the people know that they should not do something bad about the other people because they are not the same with the other ones.
The event provided a platform for engagement between the government, media, and the youth with a shared vision of building a more informed and responsible society. In Abuja for News Central, I am Joshua Imarai.
Nigeria's National Petroleum Company Limited is set to partner with the Dangote refinery to improve the supply of petroleum products across the country. This was made known in Abuja as the Group Chief Executive Officer of the NNPC Limited received the management of the Dangote Refinery PLC at the NNPCL headquarters in Abuja. Now, the Chief Executive Officer of the Dangote Refinery assured of the refinery's commitment to the partnership, saying that they are open to future collaborations that will improve Nigeria's oil and gas sector.
Nothing like competition between us. The relationship is that of collaboration, and we'll continue to collaborate in various sectors, downstream, upstream, whatever it is. Even if there are things that we're not into, if they invite us to collaborate and join forces.
The Office of the National Security Advisor has secured the conviction of 15 individuals and prosecuted over 100 others in a clampdown on pipeline vandalism in the Niger Delta. NSA Nuhu Rabadu, represented by Aide Amakri Harry Young at a town hall meeting in Yenagwa, confirmed the convictions as part of efforts to safeguard crude oil infrastructure and meet President Tinubu's target of 2.5 million barrels per day. A special committee is working continuously to ensure vandals face justice. Meanwhile, Petroleum Infrastructure Nigeria Limited has reported major success in reducing pipeline infractions through collaboration with communities and security agencies. Ijaw leaders and traditional rulers also commended PINL's approach while calling for stronger agreements under the Petroleum Industry Act and more federal engagement with local stakeholders. The Nigeria Police Force says it is set for the second edition of the Police Awards and Commendations scheduled for Wednesday, June 4th at the Police Resource Center in Abuja. Now, speaking to journalists in Abuja, the Force Public Relations Officer, Olumuyiwa Adejobi, said the initiative approved by the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, is aimed at recognizing officers for their acts of bravery, professionalism, integrity, and exceptional service across the country. He noted that the awards are part of broader reforms targeted at improving personnel motivation, welfare, and operational performance.
Hosting of the Nigeria Police Awards and Commendations ceremony is a part of a more comprehensive response package aimed at improving personnel overall welfare and motivation. This includes steady and significant improvement in housing and working conditions across all police commands and formations. It also includes the emplacement of a credible and transparent reward system which will identify, recognize, and honor acts of honesty, gallantry, dedication, patriotism displayed by our officers.
The award should have taken place since February, March. But, seeing all of the nominees that came in from across the country, just to be able to come up with something transparent, and you needed to see the sessions that the IGP and the management team will have to go through the list over and over just to come up with the different nominees in the different categories. And we have about, at the end of the day, we have about 38 nominees. It was a very thorough process.
Let's head to Kogi State, where the Ogori people, part of the Akoko group within the larger Yoruba ethnic family, are holding fast to their cultural roots, even as many have embraced Christianity and Islam. And one of the most cherished expressions of their heritage is the Ovia Osese Festival, a unique rite of passage for young girls transitioning into womanhood. But this annual event is more than just a cultural milestone. It is a powerful symbol of unity for the Ogori people, drawing sons and daughters from across the world back home to celebrate their identity. News Central's Blessings Mosugu was at the heart of the celebrations and now brings us the concluding part of her special report.
It's day 7 and the final day of the Ovia Osese Festival in Kogi State, and the Ogori people are excited for the arena event, which is the major celebration when the maidens are finally revealed after spending about 2 weeks in the Iyodina's house, receiving industrial training and learning how to live and thrive as women in the society. Earlier in the day, we visited the Iyodina, the woman king, and the equivalent of the nurturer of the maidens in Ogori land.
My name is Mabel. I know Mosugu. I feel happy. I feel great. The name of our age group is Tekaron age group. You can see we are gorgeous. The importance of Ovia Osese Festival is initiating our daughters to womanhood. It's an abomination for an Ogori indigene to be pregnant before Ovia Osese. This is a great joy that we see our daughter that they have done their Ovia Osese before marriage, and we are also teaching them how to be a good wife to the husband in their household. 5 of my children have done their Ovia Osese.
At the arena, a burst of colors as usual. The future Eviers, who are called the Ibusukes, dance in procession, followed by the Eviers, who are the actual celebrants, flanked by elderly women. After which the Iyodina is escorted in, followed by different age groups, dignitaries and neighboring guests.
Every year we have the best cultural show. I think it starts from the carnival from the previous day, the Ovia day. So there's a collation of results, and then the best group is given a trophy. Okay, you hold it for a year, and after the year, you return it, and I think we will get it again. We held it for 2 years consecutively. I grew up knowing about the Ovia Osese Festival. In the past, I think it's still like that these days. I hear that it helps ladies to stay pure, because everyone wants to go through the Ovia Osese Festival. So the Ogorians are proud of bringing out pure girls.
I'm very happy. I'm so excited to be among the Ovias of 2025. If you haven't done Ovia Osese 2025, it's an insult to the family, because the female child is not set for womanhood, and without Ovia you cannot get married. Only virgins are allowed to participate in Ovia Osese.
The governor of Kogi State, His Excellency Alhaji Ahmed Usman Ododo, arrived at the venue, gave a speech congratulating the Ogori community for a successful event.
I sincerely appreciate you for this wonderful occasion. It is with immense pride and deep appreciation that I stand here before you today as a special guest of honor at this year's Ovia Osese Festival, right here in the historic and culturally rich Ogori community of Ogori Magogo local government. Today is not just a celebration of culture, it is a celebration of identity, of value, and of sacred bond between generations. The Ovia Osese Festival remains one of the most historic and more symbolic cultural events in our dear state. And I commend the people of Ogori for keeping this tradition alive and with such compassion and dignity.
This celebration focuses on purity, but beyond that, unity and oneness. Different groups present songs and dances, while dignitaries and guests watch.
Well, we planned for it and it came out the way we wanted. So we thank God for everything. Well, we're looking forward to a better Ovia Osese Festival that will be built around tourist centers in Ogori. And we look forward to receiving more guests and more than what we have this year.
Now to health matters. The Institute of Medical Store Administrators of Nigeria, IMSAN, is urging its newly inducted pioneer members to avoid sharp practices and uphold the highest standards of professionalism, integrity and ethics in the allied medical profession. The call was made by the Registrar and Chief Executive Officer of IMSAN, Mr. Akinwumi Samuel, during the induction ceremony and the inauguration of the Institute's National Executive in Abeokuta on Saturday. Samuel emphasized the vital role of the Institute in promoting excellence in medical store management, ensuring that healthcare facilities receive high-quality products and services. He urged the inducted members to make significant contributions to the growth and development of the profession while prioritizing professionalism and ethical conduct in their work. Coming up, Somalia's capital hit by deadly floods as climate change fuels growing weather extremes. We'll tell you more in a moment. Join us again. Still in West Africa, authorities in Niger have arrested 3 journalists working for a private radio station, marking the latest detentions of reporters since the military junta seized power in a coup in 2023. Now, according to Ibrahim Manzo Diallo, head of the Air Info Media Group, which owns the radio station, the 3 journalists were detained in Agadez this week after reporting on the alleged end of security contracts between Niger and its Russian ally. Niger has been grappling with violence from Al-Qaeda and Islamic State-linked groups and has been under military control since a coup in July 2023. Our civil society and human rights organizations have raised concerns over increasing rights abuses and breaches of civil liberties under the junta's rule. In March, Amnesty International warned of a rise in arbitrary detentions, with political parties and journalists facing severe restrictions and defamation-related prison sentences being reinstated. At least 7 people have been confirmed dead following a devastating flood in Somalia's capital, Mogadishu, which occurred overnight on Saturday. Speaking at a press conference, Salah Omar Hassan, spokesperson for the Banadir Regional Administration, reported that torrential rains, which began Friday night and lasted for about 10 hours, triggered the deadly floods. The flooding has displaced over 200 families and caused significant damage. Hassan also revealed that the floods destroyed the homes of 200 families and severely impacted 6 key tarmac roads crucial for transportation in the capital. A UN report published on April 30 states that over 45,000 people have been affected by flash floods in Somalia since mid-April. The Horn of Africa remains one of the most climate-vulnerable regions, with extreme weather events becoming more frequent and intense due to effects of climate change. A group of Nigerian healthcare professionals living in and working in South Africa has come together to host the Healthcare Awareness Day event. The initiative is designed to provide essential health education, medical tips, and free services to communities across Johannesburg. Bongani Siziba has more on this story.
A special day unfolds dedicated to healthcare and hope for these individuals with love from the Nigerian healthcare professionals.
This is not the first time we have been doing it. For 5 years now, we've been going to our communities. We give them health education because we believe prevention is better than cure. We tell them what to do, how to live healthy, how to identify simple signs and symptoms, and how to report immediately when they see the signs and symptoms.
Their mission to empower South African communities with knowledge, care, and compassion regardless of nationality. Many in the community say they have heard negative stories about Nigerians living in South Africa, but today they are thankful.
I want to say to people, it's not all Nigerians are bad. Some of Nigerians, they are good people. So sometimes you don't take bad things that they are doing. You must check when they are doing good things also. Thank you so much for this program. We are very happy and we are all welcome to our community.
Healthcare is a human right. No matter where you come from, everyone deserves good care. They did not just treat, but educate and uplift the spirit of those in need.
As professionals, we are coming out to show the population, to show the community of South Africa where we are based, that we are not all the same. We are coming to show them that yes, there are good people, there are good Nigerians. We professionals, we nurses, we are good. We are coming out to give out of the abundance of what we have. Some of us have been trained back there from our country. Some of us have been trained here in South Africa. We've gained from the resources of this country, and it is only legal for us also to give it back to the society.
These Nigerian nurses say they will continue to serve with love, giving back one community at a time. In Johannesburg, for News Central, Wongani Sisi.
In other news from around the world, Pope Leo XIV has called for an end to war in the world as he greeted crowds from the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica on Sunday in his second official public appearance since becoming the leader of the Catholic Church. The new Chicago-born Pope did not shy from world events in his public address following a prayer to the Virgin Mary, as he cited the recent 80th anniversary of the end of World War II, a conflict which killed 60 million people. As had his predecessor, Francis, he appealed for a genuine, just and lasting peace in Ukraine and said he was deeply saddened by events in the Gaza Strip, calling for a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war.
Mi rivolgo anch'io ai grandi del mondo, ripetendo l'appello sempre attuale: mai più la guerra! Oggi dunque, fratelli e sorelle, ho la gioia di pregare con voi e con tutto il popolo di Dio per le vocazioni, specialmente per quelli al sacerdozio e alla vita religiosa. Ed è importante che i giovani e le giovani trovino nelle nostre comunità accoglienza, ascolto, incoraggiamento nel loro cammino vocazionale e che possano contare su modelli credibili.
In the meantime, Russian President Vladimir Putin has proposed holding direct talks with Ukraine in Istanbul on May 15, just hours after Kyiv and European leaders called for an unconditional 30-day ceasefire to begin on Monday. The leaders of Ukraine, the UK, France, Germany and Poland, meeting in Kyiv on Saturday, warned Moscow of fresh sanctions and military support for Ukraine if Russia did not agree to the ceasefire proposal. While Putin did not directly address this call in his statement, delivered from the Kremlin, he outlined a counter-proposal for new Russia-Ukraine negotiations. Earlier in the conflict, Russian and Ukrainian negotiators held talks in Istanbul but failed to reach an agreement to halt the fighting, which has continued unabated. Putin reaffirmed his commitment to serious negotiations with Ukraine, stating that he aims to address the root causes of the conflict and establish a long-lasting peace.
Мы настроены на серьезные переговоры с Украиной. Их смысл в том, чтобы устранить первопричины конфликта, выйти на установление долгосрочного, прочного мира на историческую перспективу. Не исключаем, что в ходе этих переговоров удастся договориться и о каких-то новых перемириях, о новом прекращении огня, причем о реальном перемирии, которое соблюдалось бы не только Россией, но и украинской стороной. Было бы первым шагом, повторяю, к долгосрочному устойчивому миру, а не прологом к продолжению вооруженного конфликта после довооружения, доукомплектования ВСУ и лихорадочного рытья окопов и новых опорных пунктов. Наши предложения, что называется, на столе. Решение сейчас за украинскими властями и их кураторами, которые, руководствуясь, похоже, своими личными политическими амбициями, а не интересами своих народов, хотят продолжать войну с Россией руками украинских националистов.
Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, has expressed hope that the fourth round of nuclear talks with the United States will reach a decisive point. In a video message before departing from Muscat for the talks, Araghchi revealed that further consultations took place in Tehran earlier Sunday and emphasized that this round of negotiations aims to achieve a significant breakthrough.
امروز صبح در تهران به هر حال مشورت‌های بیشتری رو داشتیم و در این دور امیدوار هستیم که به هر حال به یک نقطه تعیین کننده‌ای برسیم. اگر غرض این هست که اطمینان حاصل بشه که جمهوری اسلامی ایران سلاح هسته‌ای نخواهد داشت، این کاملا قابل حصول هست و توافقی که این مضمون رو بخواد داشته باشه حتما قابل دسترس هست. ولی بیشتر از اون اگر تقاضاهای غیر معقول، غیر واقعی داشته باشن، تقاضاهایی که قابل عملیاتی شدن نیست اگر داشته باشن، طبیعی هستش که مذاکره با مشکل مواجه خواهد شد.
China's foreign ministry has praised the country's growing ties with Latin America and Caribbean nations ahead of the upcoming China-CELAC ministerial meetings in Beijing. Assistant Foreign Minister Miang Deyu, speaking at a press conference, announced that President Xi Jinping will officially open the forum and address the prospects of further strengthening the relationship between China, the world's second-largest economy, and the Latin American and Caribbean region.
习近平主席将出席会议开幕式，并发表主旨讲话，回顾中拉关系发展。 阐述中拉命运共同体重要理念的丰富内涵、实践成就和广阔前景，提出发展中拉关系的新倡议、新举措，为中拉关系行稳致远指明方向、注入新的动能，并同拉共体双主席哥伦比亚和洪都拉斯外长共同会见记者，介绍会议的成果。 王毅外长呢，还将同拉方的同事呢举行多场双边会见。那么中方呢，始终坚决反对美方滥施所谓对等关税，中方采取了有力的反制措施，开展了坚决斗争。中方呢，将坚决维护自身的发展利益，捍卫国际公平正义，维护国际经贸秩序。我们愿同拉美国家加强沟通和协调。 共同努力维护多边主义，维护多边贸易体制，反对单边主义和经济。
The news returns in a moment. Stay with us. And now in business, corn oil producing the oil exploration outfit of Nigerian telecom and oil billionaire Mike Adenuga has made another bold move in Africa's energy industry by achieving a major milestone, the export of Nigeria's newest crude oil blend known as the Obodo blend. In April 2025, corn oil producing under the leadership of Adenuga, the first Nigerian businessman to strike oil, officially launched the Obodo blend, marking a fresh chapter for Nigeria's oil industry. Now, production was carried out under a production sharing contract with the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited. The Obodo blend is a medium sweet crude extracted from the onshore OML 150 block. This block is managed by Continental Oil and Gas Limited, one of the operating companies under the Adenugas corn oil producing, which holds 6 oil blocks across the Niger Delta. In a historic first, Owando Trading, the trading arm of Owando Group, led by Group Chief Executive Wale Tinubu, became the first company to purchase and lift the new Obodo blend. The offtake was carried out by the Atlantic Spirit, one of Owando's vessels under the watch of Century Ports and Terminals, marking the debut of Obodo crude on the international market. A key part of this milestone was Century Ports and Terminals, whose management of the Tamara Tokoni, a floating production storage and offloading vessel, created the crucial link between Corn Oil's onshore wells and Owando's export tanker. Thanks to their careful coordination, the first barrels of Obodo crude set sail smoothly under Panama's flag. In the world of sports, the Chinese embassy in Nigeria has challenged the Athletics Federation of Nigeria's account of visa delays that prevented Nigerian athletes from competing at the 2024 World Relays in Wonju. The embassy calls the AFN statement clearly inconsistent with the facts, saying that they processed visas promptly after receiving applications on May 6th. According to Chinese officials, they received the National Sports Commission's request on April 24th and completed visa issuance by May 8th. This marks the second time this year Nigerian athletes missed a major championship in China due to visa issues. Now, the embassy maintains that they have consistently supported sports cooperation between both countries and processed applications efficiently and professionally. Victor Osimhen has paid a heartfelt tribute to Galatasaray and their supporters after the club moved within touching distance of the Turkish Super League title following a crucial 2-0 victory over Trabzonspor. Now, the Nigerian striker on loan in Istanbul took to Instagram to share his pride and gratitude in the aftermath of the win, which leaves the league leaders needing just 2 points from their remaining 3 matches to clinch the title. With the Turkish Cup final on the horizon, Osimhen urged focus and unity as Galatasaray aims for a domestic double as his loan spell nears its end. Osimhen's connection with Galatasaray and its supporters remains strong. With one hand on the league trophy and eyes on the cup, the Istanbul Giants are primed for a potentially historic finish. And that's all at this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of our major stories. We told you that PDP governors convened emergency meeting in Abuja over widespread defections from the party. We also told you that Rivers State government calls for stronger collaboration to combat sea piracy and criminality. Finally, you heard that Pope Leo XIV has called for world peace in his first Sunday address. Remember, you may send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen. Do you follow us on social media? We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, StarTimes channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Darshan Usman.